Hello everyone and welcome along to live coverage of the Inside Line Racing League season here on Xbox. We've arrived at the Suzuka International Circuit, one of the best Grand Prix tracks in the world. Well, with its fantastic S's corners, the incredible high-speed Degnas and the famous 130R corner, it is an absolute classic. Right up there with the likes of Monza, the likes of Spa-Francorchamps, the likes of Interlagos, Monaco, Silverstone, to name a few. It's one of the classic tracks on the calendar. It's one all the drivers look forward to coming to, and you can see that in the turnout tonight. 16 drivers on the racetrack then heading out on qualifying day, the majority of them out there on the soft tyre. I must apologise for being slightly late, folks. That's down to me not updating my Xbox on time, so apologies for that one. I am Ginger Andy, and I do not, unfortunately tonight, have my good friend James with me. I don't know what he's up to this evening, but I'm sure he'll be having fun nonetheless. But we do have 6 minutes to go in qualifying, and it is Veloci Surprise on provisional pole, the World Championship leader, with a 1 minute 26.859, around 0.3 of a second quicker than Sira, who is in second place. Zit is in third. That is, of course, WR Verstappen, his former name. He's half a second, nearly 6/10 shy of the pole time. Lutt in fourth place, Pinecone in fifth, and Famous in sixth. That is your top six in the order as Veloci Surprise makes his way back to the pits. Let's have a look elsewhere on the track, see if we can find someone on a quick one. Let's have a look then at Pinecone, who's going 0.07 of a second quicker than his previous best through the first sector. He was a little bit out of shape there through the second part of the Degna, perhaps not getting the ideal line he would like. Going through the first part, causing him a lot of problems as the Haas, I think it's a Haas, jumping out of the way. It is indeed. I think that's Lutt on an in lap. And we can stick on board with Pinecone then with this lovely camera shot, then go back outboard as he enters the spoon curve. Flying through there, fourth gear down into third. You just want to get on the throttle as soon as you can, coming out of there and then blasting down the back straight towards the famous 130R corner where we've seen so many famous moves down the year in real life Formula One. If you look back, the most famous of all, Fernando Alonso in 2005, overtaking Michael Schumacher round the outside. As Pinecone there makes his way through the Casio triangle, lots of sliding, struggling for grip, and he's going to peel out of this lap and come into the pit lane. So into the pits comes Pinecone. Lutt's cruising back to the pits. He's not in a quick lap either. Hyde is out there though on a quick lap, as is Pierre Bruno, but he's going into the pits. So now we'll stick with Hyde Rhythms as he goes through the first sector with a 33.9. 16th quickest at the moment, the only man out there on the racetrack. He's also the only man yet to have posted a time in this session. What has he got up his sleeve? 1.5 seconds covering the top 15 drivers who have set a time so far. Top 10 covered by around 9 and a bit tenths of a second. Sierra Rosberg then popped in 11th place, and we know how much he likes to qualify outside the top 10 and then make his way up through the order. A driver who's impressed on many occasions this season with his starts off the line. Sierra Rosberg, as we continue to watch Hyde make his way as we go on board in that lovely T-cam shot of the Toro Rosso as he makes his way flat out through 130R and down into the final section of the lap, and he is also going to abandon this lap and bundle his way into the pit lane, saving as much time as he can because of course there's only 3 minutes and 32 left in the session. So let's keep an eye then on Sira, who was V Sira. He's now Shazoo Sira. SHZ is the abbreviation for that, as he makes his way on this outlap up the hill around this wonderful Suzuka circuit. You know, if you're watching, I'd like to know what is your favourite corner on this Suzuka circuit. It is a classic. You know, if you were ever going to make up a Grand Prix circuit, a dream Grand Prix circuit, your first sector from anywhere in the calendar, your second sector and the third sector, surely the first sector at Suzuka comes to mind. The incredible SE section, that would certainly be my pick for my favourite first sector. So, I'm interested to hear what's your favourite corner on this racetrack if you guys are watching. What is your favourite racetrack in general? If you combined a first, second and third sector, surely Suzuka in that first sector is going to be up there. You know, the second and third sector also brilliant. It's the only racetrack on the calendar that has a figure of 8 layout, and that that joining point, or where they overlap, is at this point here where Sira goes through 130R. Underneath that, of course, is the Degnas, or the second Degna on the lap. So here comes Sira then through the final chicane. Several drivers on their out laps, but the first man to get a final time on the board, or a final effort on the board, is going to be Sira. 2 minutes to go in the session. Let's go on board with him for a lap around this magnificent circuit, into that first corner, 8th gear on the way in, then slowly dropping down through the gears, down into 3rd, then quickly back up into 4th, 5th, then 6th, and now we really get to see how majestic this first sector is. It is like a roller coaster ride, climbing up the hill, and Sira really working his magic on the pad. One of few drivers on the pad these days in the top tier on Xbox. How he wrings the neck out of this car, I'll never know, and finds so much speed. The Brazilian then, dancing down through the Degnos. He's 1/100th of a second slower than his previous best. At the moment, 3/10 away from Veloci's Prize. He needs an almighty second and third sector to topple him. Now, making his way through that hairpin, dropping it down into 3rd gear, climbing back up now through the gears is the Brazilian driver, the man from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Making his way now down towards that spoon section, 7th gear. Don't go on the grass on the way in or you'll end up off the track. Then dropping down into 4th gear, then getting back up through the gear, so important. A little touch of the curb, and then wind your way back down the hill towards the end of the lap. Now, Sira maybe picking up a slight toe from the car in front, flying through 130R, a little bit of grass on the way there. Might be distracted by that Toro Rosso into his braking zone. Not too much though, well out of the way. Making his way through that final chicane. One more right-hander to go for Sira. 26.8 to beat. Can he topple it? No, he can improve ever so slightly, and he moves to within 2 3/4 tenths of the top time. Let's see who's going quickly behind him though. Look at this from ILRGT. He's going quicker. Nearly 2.5 tenths quicker than his previous best. So what has the man born in Estonia, lives in Finland, got up his sleeve? ILRGT then through the final couple of corners. Head on, going for the line. He's 4th quickest at the moment. Is he going to improve? He does improve up into 3rd place. Still 4/10 away from pole though from ILRGT. Surprise, looking very strong as he starts his latest flying lap. Who else we got out there? Pinecone at the end of the lap, 1.6 down. Thus far, not looking quick. So let's move away from him. Infamous then, moving through the second part of the lap in the Ferrari. Drelex going very well, 7th quickest for Drelex. That's a great effort at the moment for him. Let's see what he's got at the end of the lap, but before we do, let's stick with his teammate, Infamous. Big slide out the rear of the car, but he still improves to 3rd quickest. A great effort there from the Ferrari man. Right at the end of the session, Drelex starting another flying lap. Pimona Brown is out there. Jason going around a 10th quicker than his previous best. Rosberg going quickly too. Let's find Veloci's Prize though, who is finding more time, is he? He's already on pole by quite a margin. The only man in the 1:26s at the moment. A 1:26.859 for what some would say the champion in waiting. Making his way down now to the final part of the lap. Still finding time, Veloci's Prize. Over 1/10 of a second in the bag at the minute. Overkills has gone 5th quickest, by the way. Infamous stays 3rd, but it's all about one man in the Mercedes, and that's Veloci's Prize. What's he got up his sleeve? A 26.7, 4/10 clear of Sira. This man is on top of the world at the moment as Jason now goes 5th quickest. Great effort there from Jason, 97 F1. Lutz backed out, Sira's backed out. Who else is out there? Rosberg's in the pits, Reynolds is on 1. Drelex is bailed out too. What about Pinecone? He's finding time at the end of the lap. Around the 10th in his pocket. Can he improve? He finds 1 place, moves ahead of Zit, and climbs up into 8th quickest. So he does, and that is it. Drelex is bailed out. Everyone else has seen the flag. What about BRL Bruno? He's going slowly too. And that rounds off the qualifying session. And there is your pole sitter, Veloci's Prize, top dog yet again. And without doubt, one of the biggest margins of the season in qualifying. 4/10 quicker than Shazoo Sira in second. Goodness me, that is quite a margin for Veloci's Prize on pole position here in Suzuka. Things looking very good for the Welshman. Absolutely sensational from Veloci's Prize. Over 4/10 quicker than anyone else, and there you have it. Veloci's Prize, 1:26.10.710, I should say. Sira in second in the Alfa Romeo, 1:27.133. P1 Brown, third quickest. That went under the radar right at the end of the session. 1:27.1, a fraction away from Sira. And Infamous sits in fourth. CRG Lut is fifth. Jason is sixth. Overkill seventh. Pinecone in eighth. Ninth is Zit, and 10th is Drelex. An all-Canadian fifth row of the grid. Bastic starts 11th, Reynolds is 12th, Sierra Rosberg is 13th, and 14th was Feisty Ted. There's a few more at the bottom of the timesheets. I'll get them on the formation lap. I just want to tell you, I've not got the championship standings, folks. They have not been updated for the last two races, but I can tell you that Josh can win the championship tonight. If he wins with fastest lap and Sierra DNFs, he will win the championship. It's unlikely, but there is a chance he can win it tonight. That is all I know from the championship standings at the moment. But here we go. This is the Japanese Grand Prix. It was blue skies for qualifying, blue skies apparently for the race as well. No chance, it would seem, of any rain, but you just never know on this game. It can rain at any moment. Just stick with us, folks. It should be a cracker, but things looking good for Veloci Surprise at the moment. Very, very strong in qualifying. 4/10 on pole by. Can anyone stop him today? If it's going to be anyone, you've got to feel Sira would be the most likely driver to stop the charge. He's been the man, he's been the thorn in the side of Veloci Surprise for the most part of the season. He's the one that's cost him the most trouble in races. But today, 4:10 shy. It is a tall order as we get ready for the formation lap. The top 10, I would think, are all going to be on the soft compound tyre. Let's just be sure of that. Yes, they are. Everyone in the top 10 in the soft compound. Veloci Surprise starting from pole position, of course. Sira, softs. P1 Brown, great effort in qualifying from P1 Brown to get it in third position. Really impressive stuff there from the Williams driver. Can he challenge for another strong podium result? He's been picking up form of late. Infamous fourth quickest, another good effort there from the Ferrari man. CRG Luck was holding on to that third position for so long in the session, but dropped away at the end in fifth position. Jason sixth, Overkill seventh. Two Red Bulls together on the grid in sixth and seventh. So let's see who can come out on top in that particular battle. Should be one to watch, that's for sure. Pinecone, he'll be disappointed with 8th on the grid. That's not what he would have been hoping for. We know he's a man that's very strong, getting quicker and quicker by the day. He shows that he's got the pace to match Surprise on occasion. But down in 8th place, the Mercedes teammate of Veloci Surprise not going too well here. Zit, 9th on the grid, he'll be disappointed with that. Usually qualifying is his strong point. Doesn't often run well in the races. That is definitely his Achilles heel. Drelex starting from 10th. He'll be looking for some solid points, the Canadian driver. Satisfied with that, I'm sure. Ahead of Bastic 11th. EVR Reynolds is the first man on a different set of tyres other than softs. Bastic will get the fresh set of softs, of course, starting outside the top 10. Reynolds gets mediums then in 12th. Rosberg on softs. Feisty Ted 14th in the mediums. And then the two I never mentioned at the end of the qualifying session. Hyde's 15th. BRL Bruno 16th. Hyde, interestingly, the only man in the field on the hard compound tyre. So an interesting strategy call there from Hyde. BRL Bruno will starts from P16 on a set of the soft compound. So that rounds out your grid then for the Japanese Grand Prix, which is moments away. Let us know, folks, who are you backing for victory today? It's going to be hard to beat Veloci Surprise. I think it's fair to say that. Can anyone stop him? Can anyone spring a surprise and put a cat amongst the pigeons? We'll find out, because the 5 red lights are about to come on for the Japanese Grand Prix here in Suzuka. One of the classic races on the calendar. And Surprise sits in the grid. Sira alongside, ready to pounce. Can he get the launch he needs off the grid? P1 Brown, an excellent third. Is this going to be a day he can pick up the victory? We'll find out anyway. Here come the lights, folks. The 5 red lights are coming on. Veloci Surprise starts from pole position. He can be champion today. It's a long shot. We'll find out if he can do it as the 5 red lights go out and we are racing at Suzuka. It's a short round down to turn 1. Surprise aggressively covers Sira off and he makes it work down into that first corner ahead of the Alfa Romeo. A few positions changing further down. Let's have a little look at that. Lutt battling away with Infamous at the fight for 4th and 5th. Side by side they go, and Lutt gets the upper hand. Aggressive racing, and he's forced his way through on that Ferrari. Surprise still in the lead. We're side by side still as Jason now pounces on the inside. Is he going to get that move done? Oh no! He's gone round into a spin. Absolute chaos there. The Williams off in the background. We've got Feisty Ted off in the gravel. We've got Rosberg off in the gravel as well. And one of the Williams cars too. Total drama at the start of the race. Rosberg, Jason, Feisty Ted and WORZ all in the wars at the start of the race, all triggered by the spinning Jason as he touched, I think, with VSR Infamous. Drama at the start, and that's taken several drivers off the tail, off the field already. Drama at the start of the race as Surprise leads on his way by 0.7 of a second to Sira in second. Well, what do we make of that one, folks? All kinds of action going on there. You know, it's one of those blind corners. It's very difficult to avoid a spinning car. Jason had his moment. Then off went the Racing Point, the Renault and the Williams of WRZ in sympathy, trying to avoid that Red Bull. What a shame that was at the start of the race for those three. Jason especially, who had made a great start. A Surprise leads them across the line, trying to break the toe of Shazoo Sira in second position. He's struggling to do so though, as they come in towards the end of that opening lap. But let's speak briefly, folks, about Surprise off the line, aggressively covering. As we've got some real action further down the field. Let's have a look at it. There it is. That is Bruno Will climbing up to 10th, high down to 11th. A little move there, as we've got several cars in the pits. Bastic was in the pits too. I think he damaged his front wing actually against the spinning Jason. So that's another car that's had to come into the pits. So Bastic, Ted, Jason, Zit, I think, has managed to continue. He just went off the road. Rosberg continued without damage. He went off the road. But the top 11 have not sustained any issues, and they should be fine to continue on their way. Well, trying to get my breath back after that. A crazy start to the Grand Prix. Let's go on board with VSR Infamous, who is in 5th place at the moment, behind Lutt and P1 Brown. Let's have a look at the position changes. This is not going to be very accurate due to the amount of issues for the guys in the midfield. Zip down 4, obviously. Bastic down 3, Feisty Ted down 1, Jason down in mammoth 10 places after that incident. The big winner was BRL Bruno, who came all the way from the back of the grid up into 10th place, gaining 6 places. VSR Infamous though up at the front, down 1 to CRG Lutt with that beautiful move round the outside from Lutt, making it stick at the start of the race. Let's go back to the position changes, or sorry, the tyres graphic I should say. Surprise still leading on lap 3 out of 27 with a 7/10 gap, unable to open that out any further at the moment. P1 Brown 3rd behind Sira, struggling for pace and struggling to stick with Sira. It's now becoming a 3-way fight for that final podium spot, potentially 4 with Pinecone there as well. P1 Brown, Lutt, Infamous and Pinecone. That will be an interesting scrap all afternoon. But if you guys are watching, I usually speak to James for opinions if he's here alongside me on what he thought about Surprise aggressive move at the start, what he thought about the incident, and who he thinks will come out on top in this 3rd place battle. But that's the things I want to ask you guys in the comment section to generate some interest, generate some discussion here in the commentary box. First of all, was Surprise too aggressive at the start? Second of all, who was at fault for the incident? Could anyone have avoided it at Dunlop curve? And third of all, who's going to come out on top in this battle for the podium spot? P1 Brown, Lutt, Infamous or Pinecone? Because I think this could be a really exciting scrap throughout the race, and it's going to be one to watch. How will Hyde get on? That's another question on the hard compound tyre, having gained all those places and staying out the carnage at the start as well. So that's another one to look out for as we stay watching Lutt and P1 Brown and Infamous making their way down towards that 130-yard corner. No sign of any moves just yet as they all continue to try and save the battery in an energy-saving period of the race. Surprise though, importantly, opening out that gap above 1 second, is he? Not quite. Sira, I think, is he going to get DRS? I don't think so. I don't think he has. The gap is down to 8/10, so he needs to keep it there. Otherwise, Surprise has got a chance of breaking clear. But look at this, very close there into turn 1 between P1 Brown, Lutt and Infamous. I'm just going to load up the chat now. I don't know if you guys have been chatting away or not, but I've disconnected from it, so I might not see what you guys have said. If you have said anything, say it again. As Lutt continues to follow P1 Brown. Not a racetrack on this game that usually provides great overtaking opportunities, I've got to be honest. Turn 1 is quite a shallow braking zone. It's hard to outbrake someone, and then the entire first sector is difficult to follow. As Luck goes a little bit wide there, and that's got him famous on his tail. Well, he fancy one up the inside into the hairpin, not quite. Decides to stay behind. There is a corner where you can make a move. Kamui Kobayashi has proven that in the past with several dive bombs. If you, some of our older viewers remember back to the 2010 season or 2011. Kobayashi, I think it was 2010, loved the move down into that corner in front of his home fans. 2012, we picked up a fantastic podium. A surprising podium, but so many drivers did in that incredible season. I'll be honest with you, Joe, I have not seen last week's race. So, as you know, I was away, but I've not seen last week's race, unfortunately. But here comes VSR and Famous, making his way through the final part of the lap. Is he going to be close enough? We've got a yellow flag. Why is that? Let's try and find out. Sector 2. Nope, no sign of it. So let's go back to this battle. And here comes CRG Luck then. Down the outside. Is he going to breeze round the outside of the Williams? Yes, he is. Lovely stuff there from the Estonian driver. And he makes his way through up into third place. Sweeping round the outside of P1 Brown and taking that third place away. Beautiful move there from CRG Luck. And he passes P1 Brown round the outside using that DRS to good effect. And he obviously feels as WRZ retires from the Grand Prix, he is out and adds to the long list of retirements he's had this season. Not his specialty, the Grand Prix. He is out of the Grand Prix, and now is Infamous planning a move on P1 Brown. Is he going to try and squeeze up the inside here? He's been thinking about it. He is, you know, Kobayashi-esque. Down the inside goes Infamous. Is he going to make it work on P1 Brown? Not quite. P1 Brown holding his ground. They're rubbing wheels. Infamous off the road. Oh, big off. Big off for the pair of them. Into the wall, and out goes Infamous. And out as well has gone CRG Pinecone. He's been caught up in the drama as well. And unbelievably, both cars out. And P1 Brown is in there as well. So P1 Brown and Infamous and Pinecone all out on the spot pretty much. What a disaster. That's two major incidents in this Grand Prix. One at the start and one now involving P1 Brown, Infamous and Pinecone. And for Pinecone and Infamous, it's terminal damage. Wow. And in typical Codemasters fashion, that's not enough for a safety car. I don't know why. In real life F1, Valtteri Bottas parking with no danger at the Brazilian Grand Prix is a safety car. Well, in the game, a massive smash, no chance of a safety car. Work that one out, folks, as P1 Brown makes his way back to the pits, just about, nearly bouncing off the barriers, and now we're left with massive gaps all over the racetrack. But what do we make of that incident there? Who gets the blame for that one? Because that was a bit of a hefty shunt involving Pinecone, Infamous, and P1 Brown. Deary me. Not what we want to see. So, Veloce's Prize leads the way from Sierra second, CRG Lutt in third as Pinecone leaves the session in disgust as Bastek's picking up a 3-second time penalty. And we've now got massive gaps all over the place. We've got one move, Feisty Ted on P1 Brown. That's out of the pits. But we'll keep an eye on this battle for 12th and 13th at the moment because we've got big gaps everywhere. And this potentially now is going to be the best overtaking chance on the track. We're getting penalties left, right and centre here as P1 Bruno Will picks one up. As P1 Brown sets some sights on making a move on Feisty Ted. He obviously feels after 6 laps he can maybe take those medium tyres to the end. Feisty Ted pitted 4 laps earlier. He was involved in that big shunt at the start. We've had 2 big accidents. One involving Zit, Ted, Jason and Bastek, and Rosberg. Some of them getting away with it, going through the gravel trap at Dunlop on the opening lap. And one involving Pinecone and Infamous, who as you can see are now out of the Grand Prix. And this man here, P1 Brown. And that has opened up a glorious opportunity for the likes of Overkills, Greylex, Reynolds, Bruno Will to get a strong result this weekend, folks. As here comes P1 Brown then, as you would expect, on Feisty Ted to breeze through and take the place away. So easy as you like for P1 Brown, takes 12th place, 13th for Feisty Ted. Sierra though, back up at the front, staying within a second, or roughly a second, of the race leader. Look at all the debris on the right hand side of the screen there. All sorts of drama. Anyway, let's go to Sierra Rosberg on the soft compound tyre. with EVR Reynolds for company, hunting him down. But yeah, let's have a look at this debris. Look at all that debris on the right-hand side of the track. It's like a demolition derby, this race. Drama everywhere you look. TRL Rosberg then, up behind the back of EVR Reynolds. Will Reynolds fight this one? I'm not too sure. Both on 6-lap-old tyres. Rosberg though on softs, Reynolds on mediums. And Rosberg is going to be gaining and gaining down towards 130R. Closer and closer he will get. Is he going to be close enough to make the move? Down the inside, he thinks about it, not quite. And it wasn't to be. Sierra Rosberg stays in 8th place as EVR Reynolds gets closer and closer to the sight of Sierra Rosberg. Rosberg then, he's going to breeze past down the straight, using up the overtake mode into mode 4. Reynolds obviously not interested in fighting it, and through goes Sierra Rosberg up into 7th place. Next on his radar is BRL Bruno Will, who started 16th. He's now, after 8 laps, up in 6th place, having a fine race, staying out of all the carnage. But what an afternoon this could be for the likes of Overkills and Drelex, who's up in 5th position at the moment, having a fine afternoon, the Canadian. Good to see him doing well. Always nice to see Drelex having a good race. And that's exactly what he's doing, running well in 5th place. But up at the front, Sira, just ain't giving up, is Hyde now, picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's clinging on, as Jesus Sira. Every time he looks like dropping out with a second, he stays there. Let's compare the battery usage. 15% roughly for Sira, 22% for Surprise. So Surprise trying his best at times to make a break for it, but Sira simply not allowing it. Will we see an early pit stop then from Sira? Will he try and come in early and undercut Veloci Surprise? What do we think? Absolutely, yes he will, right on cue. So here we go, Shazoo Sira into the pits, locking up on the way in, really pushing the limits there. He knows this is his best opportunity if he wants to win this race. So down the pit lane comes the Alfa Romeo. On will go a set of the medium compound tyre. This is his race. Is he going to be out in clean air though? That's the question. Here comes Bruno. Here comes Rosberg, Reynolds as well. Is he going to be in clean air? I don't know, that's going to be very close. Just ahead of Hyde, and he's got 3 seconds of room to work in to Reynolds ahead. So this is an opportunity here for Sira. Will Surprise be forced to blink? He's not often the man that immediately responds. He likes to do his own thing, so we'll keep an eye on what Surprise will do at the end of this lap. But Sira has blinked early and is pushing hard, and you can see it. Really, really aggressive over the curbs there, and is intent on taking the lead away from Veloci Surprise, who was so strong in qualifying. Sira already only 1.3 behind Reynolds. He kind of wants Surprise to come into the pits on this lap. Will the race leader do that? Let's see. Making his way now towards the final chicane. Veloci Surprise. This is the key moment in the fight for the victory. We're at 1/3 race distance. Is Surprise coming in? Yes, he is coming in. Good from a neutral's perspective, it has to be said. Slowing it down then and straight into that pit box will go Surprise. Now we need to look. Lutz come in as well. Will that hold Surprise? I think it might have, you know. That might have held Surprise. So let's go to Sira. Is he going to get the lead from Surprise? Let's find out then as he makes his way round the final corner. Reynolds has not hurt him. He's not hurt him at all on this lap. Sira then making his way across the line. Watch for the Mercedes on the right hand side. There it is. Sira's got the drag. He's got the momentum. He's got the net lead of the Japanese Grand Prix. 1 lap earlier was the plan, and it's worked. He's got himself ahead of Veloci Surprise, the championship leader, and that's a huge, huge thing for Sira. Massive moment in this Grand Prix, but the question is, can he hold him back? On the ball down at Alfa Romeo Racing. They've got the Alfa in early and on time. And they have jumped Surprise in the pits. Great stuff, great work there from the Alphas, but now it's all about negotiating the new race leader, which is EVR Reynolds. And I say this a lot, and I'll say it again. Don't overtake a car that you don't need to overtake on the wrong side. But you'll get away with it there. He should be through in time, in good time. Yes, he is, before a corner. Don't go on the outside of a car, you're not racing, and Reynolds is going to have a spin! Oh, round he goes, and nearly gets in the way of Surprise. He'll just about scoot across the runoff area, across the circuit, before any cars come through. And Reynolds, well, I think he's overheated those medium tyres. They go spinning. Thankfully, doesn't get in the way of the leaders who are about to go dueling, I feel, around this circuit anytime soon. Lap 10, about to be lap 11 out of 27 in this Japanese Grand Prix. We've had our fair share of drama so far, it has to be said. We had that start crash at Dunlop on the opening lap, which took Zit, Feisty Ted, Jason, Bastic and Cyril Rosberg pretty much out of the running early on. A few of them without damage scampered across the runoff area. A few of them, well, had to pit, and Zit in the end had to retire. We then had Pinecone and Famous coming together with Jason as well in that one. No, sorry, no, not Jason. Pinecone and Famous and Pamela Brown coming together in that one. So many incidents, I'm losing count. And that's why they're out of the position, and that's why we've got drivers like Overkills and Drelix in much stronger positions than where they may have been. To be fair to Overkills, he qualified well and was looking strong nonetheless. Drelix though was down a 10th, but he's gained a lot of ground and is going pretty well as things stand, on for potentially a top 5 finish here. Meanwhile at the front, it's all about this battle. Surprise led the way for the early exchanges of this Grand Prix. He led the way in qualifying by a massive 4.5 tenths almost. But in the race, after an early pit stop from the Alfa Romeo team, 1 lap earlier than this man Surprise, they got their man out ahead. And now the chase is on for Veloci Surprise with 15 laps to go to try and close in and regain the lead. But Sira is showing some searing pace. A 1:30.4, a new fastest lap of the Grand Prix from the race leader, showing today that he does have strong pace to compete for this victory today. Looking very strong. This is the battle for the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix here at Suzuka. It's one that will rage on and on. Surprise, 24% of his battery, Sira 14. Staying in mode 0 through this section. You can't overtake here, so both drivers doing their best to just save that battery. But where can we expect Surprise to go for a move? Will he try down into that chicane if he gets an opportunity at the end of the lap? Or is it all about that first corner? Is that the best place on the circuit? Sira knows that overtaking round here can be difficult on the game. He will just need to be wise about his ERS deployment. Was it such a clever move by him to come in a lap earlier? What do you guys think watching? Do you think Surprise? Do you think Sira? If you're a betting man, where do you put the money? I honestly think it's too close to call, simply because it's difficult to overtake round here. But I always know Surprise has got something up his sleeve. He always seems to have something up his sleeve. And he's gaining on the back of Sira at the end of this lap. Let's see if he's going to consider going for a move then, down towards that first corner. Sira already trying to break the toe, moving across to the right-hand side of the road. Surprise moving up to mode 1, no intent on going for it. Sira meanwhile draining the battery, feeling the need to get defensive. And even while he was up in mode 3 or 4, Surprise is still there. So this could be Surprise's race. He's doing a good job on that battery, Surprise. Sira feeling the need to use a little bit more to stay on the safe side. Well, Sira in the next couple of laps have to start saving that little bit more if he wants to stay in a competitive position in terms of straight line speed at the end of this Grand Prix. We'll wait and see, but let's move away from the front for now. There is a raging battle going on for 8th position between CRL Rosberg and BRL Bruno. EVR Reynolds picks up a 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings to his name. 13 laps gone out of 27 in what has been a topsy-turvy Japanese Grand Prix with so much incident in the opening 13 laps. What lies ahead in the remaining 14? We've got a fantastic fight for victory. We've got a great fight for 8th position going on at the moment as well. Both these guys, BRL Bruno and CRL Rosberg, on similar strategies. Let's go back to the front of the field with Veloci Surprise and V Sira, or Shazoo Sira as I should now know him as, as they make their way through the final corner. Is Surprise now poised to make a move? He's got into mode 2. Mode 0, he's still saving, still doesn't want to make that move, still pleased and happy enough and content to sit there and let Sira drain that battery. And we remain as they were. Let's go back to Rosberg now. And he's right behind PRL Bruno Well coming out of the final corner. The Brazilian doesn't have the pace to match Cyril Rosberg at the moment. And Rosberg, I think, on the run down to turn 1 is going to say, see you later, as Nico Hülkenberg once said at this circuit. And he makes his way through up into 8th position past PRL Bruno Well in the Haas. So Bruno Well now in 9th place, Jason's in 10th, 12 seconds adrift and on really old tyres. It'll be difficult to see how anyone will catch Bruno Well from there. The top 9 pretty secure as they have all been able to avoid any incident in this race. Everyone from 10th down has been in an incident of some sort. 4 of those drivers at the start, 3 of them, Pinecone and Famous and Brown, involved in a mid-race shunt which eliminated Pinecone and Infamous and effectively Brown from contention near the front. Overkills is also gaining on Reynolds. That's going to be one to watch. Reynolds, by the way, still to pit. But before we do go to that, we need to go back to the leaders. And here we are then. Is Surprise going for it this time? Look how much battery he's got saved. 70%. Will he save again? He will save again. Mode 2, it's all it's getting. Sira though, look at that, 6%. Surprise, just waiting and waiting and waiting for the closing stages of this Grand Prix, it would seem, to launch his attack. Sira just draining that battery every time. And Surprise, I think he knows what he's waiting for. Get that battery up to 100%. Force Sira to drain it down towards 130R. And then force him to drain it down the start-finish straight. And by that point, he'll have nothing left. And Surprise will be able to steal a march and try and take the lead into turn 1. That's got to be what Surprise is thinking. He doesn't know how Sira's doing on the battery. Only we know that. But surely he will be thinking that Sira is draining it. Even Sira feels a need down this straight to use some battery up. Such is the power of the slipstream. And even this is not an overtaking area. So that tells you all you need to know. Sira is worried, he's concerned about the pace of Surprise, and now look at this, Surprise in mode 4. He now thinks this is an opportunity to drain Sira's battery. Mode 2 now. Sira, 19%, still holding firm on that battery, doing a good job. But is this the chance Surprise has been waiting for? Still mode 0. Feisty Ted gets a 3-second time penalty. Now he's going to mode 3. But still no sign of Surprise going for that move. It's a waiting game here in the Japanese Grand Prix as we get a lovely shot from the barrier, from the runoff area of the 2 leaders making their way through turns 1 and 2. Still, it remains Sira from Surprise. Surprise, 1 lap fresher tyres as well. But we need to go to the battle for 6th. There it is. Overkills versus Reynolds. Only 2 men in this race yet to make a pit stop. There they are. Well, yeah, 2 men. 2 of them that never got the chance to make a pit stop. Pinecone and Infamous due to that shunt. But there you go. Hyde and Rhythms. Sorry, Hyde is Rhythms. Hyde and Reynolds, the only 2 yet to make a pit stop in this Grand Prix. That will promote Overkills to 4th position and Drelex to 5th. What a fine result it could be for those 2. But Rosberg could be catching them quickly. We know he's got a pace advantage. Usually on form on those 2. We'll keep an eye on that one. Overkills would really like to clear these guys quickly, but we need to go back to the leaders. Maybe not yet. Stick with Overkills for now. Gaining on Reynolds. He would like to clear these guys quickly and give himself as much of a buffer as he can to Drelex and Rosberg. That's certainly something he would like to do. But hold on, Surprise is very close now to the back of Sira. Let's stick with this then. Let's go to the helicopter camera on lap 16 out of 27. Crossing the line now for lap number 17. Surprise in mode 4. Is this the moment he's been waiting for? He's gaining down towards turn 1. He's sweeping round the outside. What a lovely shot we get. And what a lovely move from Bellocci Surprise as he snatches the lead away from the Brazilian. Sira can do nothing. He drained the battery. Surprise picked his moment and sweep round the outside to take the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix on lap number 17 out of 27. And is that a decisive moment in this race as he now stretches his advantage to over half a second in that first sector alone. Is this the chance he needs? Look at that, straight up into hot lap, mode 5 to pull clear of Sira. Sira with the battery drained. Is that the moment that decides the victor in this Japanese Grand Prix? Tactical battle and a tidy execution from Surprise to make the move stick. He now leads with 10.5 laps to go. Let's then shuffle down to Reynolds and Overkills. Reynolds, Hyde still doing their best to hold back the charge of Overkills, and it's allowing Drelix to close that little bit, but not close enough for a move yet for VSR Overkills. What about this time down this straight? Is he now going to try and make that move stick? He's right up behind the back of EVR Reynolds and will be thinking about going for that move. Overkills then will be looking left, looking right. He's on the inside. Is he going to outbrake Reynolds into the braking zone? No, not quite. Difficult to overtake there, it really is. Now on the exit, Overkills, and Reynolds is coming into the pits. Goodness me. Overkills didn't see that coming. He was trying to tuck right into the toe there. He thought Reynolds was going to cover. He wasn't. And Overkills very nearly sustaining damage there. He just gave him a nice little nudge, no more than that. And he is through now, up into 5th place. And as you can see on the wing, no damage done, and that's good to see for a man who's having a very solid race. But it's given Drelix a new lease of life, you would think. And he is 6th at the moment, and he's 1.2 off, so there's an opportunity there. As Pimona Brown, look at this, battling away with Jason, round the outside of Jason into turn 1, and he's made it work. Lovely stuff there from Pimona Brown to take 9th place from Jason 97 F1. I'd love to have seen the full move there in its whole glory. We caught the tail end of it, and I'm glad we did, because Pimona Brown makes the place and is up to 9th. Does he have time to catch BRL Bruno Well? Tall order, I don't think so, but it is P9 at least for the man who started in 3rd place in this Grand Prix. Lovely stuff, lovely position gained, and through he goes. So let's go back to the front, or near the front. Hyde and Overkills, pretty close there, half a second between the leaders. I'm not going to go there just yet. I don't think Sira, nah, not close enough. So we'll go back to this, because there's quite a variation in the tyre life here. Will Hyde pit on this lap? Yes, he will, so that will promote Overkills back up into that 4th place he held at the start, and Drelix back up into 5th. So those two looking very strong. Rosberg not making the gains he would really like on Drelix at the minute, I don't think. Well, actually, I tell a lie, he is slowly but surely wheeling him in, and that could be one to watch by the end of the Grand Prix. So you guys are watching, what do you think about that particular battle? Rosberg been gaining on Drelix and Overkills in the last few laps. What do you guys think? Will we see a move there soon? Can Rosberg get there up into the top 4 before the end of the Grand Prix? It would be some job if he could. Can he get at least one of them? One to watch, that's for sure. We've got a yellow flag. Feisty Ted is out and Bastic's in the pits. So Feisty Ted, I don't know if he's retired in the pit lane. I can only assume he has. He is now out of the Grand Prix. He joins Pinecone and Famous, who crashed. Crash damage, not retiring as a result of you know, just not wanting to race or being involved in an incident that didn't give them terminal damage. They actually did retire with terminal damage. WRZ was another retirement, as Jason there picked up a 3-second time penalty. That is a rarity. We don't see that often. So Reynolds has got himself ahead of Jason as well. Will he have the pace to get past Pimona Brown? I think Pimona Brown actually just passed Reynolds, so I'm not too sure. That's one to watch, but also one to watch is this. Lap 20 out of 27. Sira just isn't going to give this up, is he? He's determined to fight Surprise right to the death. I said it at the top of the show. He's been the man that's given Surprise an earful. He's the man that's been giving Surprise something to think about all season long. And it looks like he's intent on doing that again. Surprise there, sliding the rear of the car through that second Degner. Is he struggling out there? with his tyres a little bit. Is it he this time that's having problems and not Sira who's on the pad? Perhaps. We'll wait and see. Before we do, let's go to Reynolds. Close to Fiona Brown, but not close enough, so that's enough for me to go back to the two leaders who are coming towards an overtaking section of the racetrack. Do not go anywhere, folks. The last few laps of this one are bound to be a cracker. Sira determined to fight Surprise to the flag. 27% battery. Surprise got a little bit more. He's using his battery well as Veloci Surprise in that Mercedes car up in front. Round the final few corners they go. To start, lap 21 now, out of 27. Still, Surprise holds his lead. Sira just sitting there waiting in the wings as Fiona Brown now is being overtaken by ILR Reynolds. I missed that one, unfortunately. Oh, Brown's going round. He's going to do what Reynolds did earlier in the race. Just about holds it. And Jason will say, thank you very much. And they go side by side now, down towards 130R. Oh, this is going to be very, very tasty. And he decides not to go for the inside. He wasn't far enough alongside, to be fair, to go for the inside. And Jason is through. But will he maintain that place? That's the next question. Because he's on 18-lap old tyres. Fiona Brown on 14-lap old tyres. And Brown doing what Reynolds himself did earlier. Only this time, he was able to hold on to the car. So, down towards turn one. Can Fiona Brown regain that place on Jason? He's going to have to switch and think about it. Tries the outside, can't find a way through, and has to settle back in behind the Red Bull driver. One thing we haven't touched on is penalties. Usually I would go to James for that. We don't have him, so I'm going to go to Surprise. He's got 2 warnings, Veloci Surprise. Sira hasn't got a single warning. Lutt has got 1 warning. Overkills, a couple of warnings. Drelex, no warnings. So Surprise needs to be careful. He's 1 warning away from a time penalty, folks. Sira can afford to attack. He doesn't have any time penalties, and he doesn't have any warnings, I should say. So, does that favour Sira? You could argue it does. Let's go back to them now, because they're very close going into turn one. Oh, very, very close. Sira on the outside trying to find a way through. Not quite close enough, and Surprise holds his line. Apologies, folks, we nearly missed that one there. Oh, this is going to be brilliant right to the end of the race. Sira knows he can afford to put pressure on Surprise. He doesn't have a single warning. Surprise, though, has got a couple. Wow. Tried the outside, but Surprise was equal to it. He just had enough battery left saved to hold him off. Getting very, very close now. Sira pushing and pushing like crazy to try and find a way through. Still can't do it. Down into turn one, I think. Fiona Brown, yes, has got his move done on Jason. So good job there from him. But you guys are interested in one thing and one thing only, and that is this. The battle for the lead of the ILR1 Xbox Japanese Grand Prix here on F1 2019. Go on, folks, if you're watching, in the comment section, where is your money? Veloci Surprise, the championship leader, or the only man left to challenge? Shazoo Sira, the man second in the standings, the man who's been causing Veloci Surprise problems all season long. Here we go then, lap number 23 out of 27, and Sira now has roles reversed. He's the man attacking. Surprise covers the inside. Sira down the outside goes the Brazilian, and he's made it stick, has he? Surprise keeps his nose in, but he can keep his nose in no more, because Sira do Brazil takes the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix away from Veloci Surprise. Lovely stuff, just as Surprise had done to him around 8 laps ago. He turns the tables and does it himself. And with 4 laps to go, he now leads in this ding-dong battle for victory between the top 2. Great stuff to see. Sira leads, Surprise second. Game on. Oh, I'm loving this. Really enjoying the tactical battle between these two. Sometimes the argument is ERS ruins the racing. Not today. A tactical battle. We've seen them switch positions a few times. I'm sure we will again before the end. Go on, folks. Stick your neck on the line. Are you going for Sira? Are you going for Surprise? I just don't know who to back at the minute. I just don't have a clue. Surprise, gaining and gaining and gaining. Back on Sira. Are they going to switch polices yet again before the end of this race? They're coming up on Bastic, who's disconnected. That might give Sira DRS, you know, if he's close enough. I don't think he is. Let's see as they come across the line. Nope, no DRS for Sira. But surprise, lost time there. He wasn't close enough to Sira. Looked for all the while he was going to be all over him. But he's waiting and waiting. You feel now that the cool cam customer he is for potentially a final lap move. Is that what he's waiting for? I'm getting flashbacks here to Kimi Räikkönen versus Giancarlo Fisichella from that famous 2005 Japanese Grand Prix. Is that what we're going to see before the flag? We'll wait and see, because we've not got long to go in this brilliant, entertaining, exciting Japanese Grand Prix. Third looks secure for CRG. Fourth looks secure for Drelex, unless for Overkills, unless Drelex has any other ideas. Rosberg still gaining on Drelex. Will it be enough though? That's the question. Fiona Brown versus Reynolds is another battle we need to keep an eye on, but this is the one we all want to see. Lap 24 now. Listen to that Mercedes-Benz engine singing. A surprise, gets right into the slipstream of Sira. Is he going to go for the move into the chicane? Oh, he is! Surprise! And down the inside, makes it stick on Sira. Lovely stuff there. Into the chicane, but Veloci surprise. He's caught him napping with a beautiful move. Now, Surprise has got the DRS and Sira is left waiting behind, wondering what the hell is just taking place. Surprise down the inside, into the chicane, beautiful move, and he now regains the lead in this topsy-turvy Japanese Grand Prix. It is like a heavyweight boxing match. 1 minute Surprise throws a punch, next minute Sira throws a punch. Oh, this is brilliant, 3 laps to go. Now we can treat it like a sprint race to the flag between the top two. Surprise is trying to make a dash for it though. 6/10 he's found in that first sector. Is that the decisive blow in this race? He is the world champion in waiting, and no wonder. He just doesn't know when he's beaten. But neither does this Brazilian, this feisty Brazilian, this determined, gutsy Brazilian from Sao Paulo. Does not give up and will fight it all the way. Sira again behind Surprise, and again keen to close. He's in mode 4, he's trying everything to get onto the tail of the car in front, but Surprise is also draining his battery. He's also wary of what Sira's trying to do, and they're cancelling each other out as things stand. Brilliant race between the top two on Xbox. Surprise versus Sira. Surprise pumps in a fastest lap. He's determined to pull clear, but Sira is just not giving this up. The fastest man in the world on a controller versus the fastest man on Xbox. Full stop. Who's going to come out on top here in Brazil in the closing moments? They've both led in what has been an epic show for the viewers, an epic show for myself in the commentary box. But you just feel the Surprise has got that little bit more up his sleeve, especially with Sira draining his battery at the minute. He's got to be inventive. As we've already seen from Surprise, he was inventive, making a move at the Casio Triangle chicane where we didn't expect it. He's now trying to open that above a second. Sira slides, and is that the nail in the coffin? Is that the race decided? It might be. Surprise is opening it out to 1.2 seconds. And I think that might be the final straw for Shizuo Sira, unless Surprise makes a mistake, and we know how rare that is from the World Championship leader. It's been another masterclass from the supremely talented Welsh driver, Veloci Surprise, a star in the waiting. And Sira there, and as Joe's pointed out, slightly aggressive on the ERS, not making the right choice. As Fiona Brown's picked up a 5-second penalty, that's going to hurt him, that's going to drop him behind Jason before the end of this race. But Surprise, remember folks, is one warning away from a time penalty. Remember that. He might not slide and give Cira a chance, but he might cut a corner and give Cira a chance. He needs to keep his head on this final lap. On this final lap. A team final lap. A team final lap we did not expect, because everybody else in the field, we've had supreme racing right up until this final lap. But it looks like Surprise has got enough up his sleeve, enough up his pocket to take the victory, unless he cuts a corner and throws it away. But that's not like him. It's looking supremely good. He won't win the championship today. Cira will ensure that by finishing second. He needed to get fastest lap velocity Surprise and hope for a Cira DNF. That ain't happening. Cira putting in a fine show, but it's not fine enough to beat the fastest man in the world on Xbox, who's about to take the ILR title yet again. He's on course to win the AOR title as well. He is one of the most decorated out there on Xbox at the moment. Just wait till he gets into an esports team. Hopefully next year will be the year, but before that we can appreciate it in all its glory in ILR. He's held off the superb Cira to win yet again. Veloci Surprise wins again in Japan. Superb performance. Cira comes home with second. CRG Lux sliding and spinning over the line. Will he get over the line? That's the question. Will he get there? Just over the line in third. Goodness me, that was dangerous. Very dangerous from CRG Lux. Overkills then. He will come across the line to finish a solid fourth. He'll be happy with that. Drelix fifth and Rosberg chased them all the way in sixth. Hyde is going to be coming home with a 3-second time penalty. BRL Bruno is seventh. EVR Reynolds will come over the line in eighth. And P1R Brown ninth, with Jason over the line in 10th. Hyde is going to be 11th. TSR Bastic is going to be 12th. And he's a lap down as well. And that is that. A thrilling Japanese Grand Prix. We were concerned at the start of this race when we saw a Surprise with a 4/10 gap in qualifying. He did come out the eventual victor, but it was not straightforward. Cira made that undercut work to perfection and made his life very difficult, but in the end, the champion in waiting had all the answers, as he always seems to do. There he is, celebrating a Japanese Grand Prix victory in fine style. The champagne is sprayed, Cira comes home second, and Kedon, the Estonian driver, with a fine third place finish today as well. And he just about made it over the line without binning it in the barrier, and that would have been a real disaster had that been the case, and would have gave Overkills an unlikely podium. As it was, it wasn't to be for Overkills, but still a strong race, and it was a great result for Veloci Surprise, who extends his championship lead further. Hopefully we'll have those standings for you next week. They've not been updated for a while. But there is the final results from the Japanese Grand Prix. Surprise winning from Cira second and Lutz in third. VSR Overkills, he comes home fourth. A solid result for him. He'll be delighted he benefited from all the drama going on behind VSR Drelix. A fantastic 10 points in fifth. Delighted for the Canadian driver. Sarah Rosberg, he was off in the kitty litter early on. Not his fault as a result of the drama that happened in front of him. EVR Reynolds was 8th, BR Bruno was 7th. P1R Brown, he came home in 9th, and Jason 97 F1 rounded out the points finishers in 10th. Well folks, I'm interested to hear who was your driver of the day this afternoon. Arguably a few contenders. You could have gave it to the likes of Drelex, the likes of Overkills, they fought well. What about Veloci Surprise too? He put in a strong performance as well to win. Cira made it an interesting one too. So I'm interested to hear you guys, what is your picks for driver of the day? While you guys decide on that, I need to invite the guys on the podium into here for their interviews. So don't go anywhere folks, let's get them in here. Try and get all the guys in as soon as possible. So let's see who else we got. So we've got Cira in. Let's try and get Surprise and get on in. Veloci Surprise. Invite. Oh, thank you for inviting Lut. Thank you very much. I'll just get Surprise in and then we are sorted folks. But yes, driver of the day, folks. I'm interested to hear who you are. Usually at this point, I'd fill in and James would talk while we do the invites. But so apologies, folks. We had to just pause there briefly. But yes, we do have them all in, and we can now start the interviews. Starting off with our race winner, Veloci Surprise. Fantastic victory once again. 4:10 gap in qualifying. Things were looking pretty good for you for the race, but you really had to fight for that one, didn't you?
Yeah, the quality was decent. It was around about my PB, only a little bit off my PB, so I was happy with the quali lap. I didn't expect everyone to be so far behind. I don't know if I was just on a quali setup or I just did a good lap or whatever, but yeah, as you could tell by the race, it wasn't so easy. I pushed like mad at the start. I pretty much got everyone out of DRS apart from Sira, which was annoying. But yeah, he had really good pace to stick with me. I was pushing quite hard throughout the whole race, actually. I normally find on this game that you have a chance to relax, but this race was different. I was pushing pretty much the whole way through, so yeah, GG to Sira. He had a really good race pace. We switched a little bit, and then at the end I got ahead, and then it seemed like, I'm not sure, but he dropped out of DRS. I'm going to assume it was the tyres. He pit a lap earlier than me, and they probably just died off towards the end, and then yeah, I was able to break that gap and take the win.
Yeah, it was a really exciting race to watch. I was concerned after qualifying with the gap you had. You said yourself you were surprised by that gap, as was I after qualifying. But you know, so how do you go about it then when you go into a race like this with someone so close to you in pace? We know we've spoke about it so often about, you know, how powerful the DRS is and the slipstream is on this game. So is that what it's all about for you in the opening laps of the race? Try and break that DRS, push, mode 4, go for it, gun for it. Because do you feel if you break that's the key to your race?
Yeah, I found out just from earlier races in this league and different leagues that my races don't normally go as well when I decide to just give in and just stay in the slipstream train. Maybe don't use if I'm on pole, maybe not using all my ERS, forming a big train of maybe 4 or 5 cars behind me. I found that I just try and just pull away right at the start. It's just the best way to go about the race. You may not break away from everyone, but as you've seen, I was pretty much able to break away from everyone apart from Sira, which meant that I only had a train of, I only had just Sira behind me fighting for the win, so yeah, I'd say that definitely is the strategy, yeah.
Yeah, because I suppose if you've got 4 cars behind you, it's more of a lottery, isn't it? It's more of a gamble.
Yeah.
You know, you're fighting with all these guys, and you can break away from the other 2 guys, except there's 4 if you're fighting with someone else. But yeah, I understand. So about those moves then, it was good to watch. A few simple ones down into turn 1, you know, just changing. It was, you know, it's what we expect from this game. But then you switched it up a little bit, and it's not often we see a move down there. It was a lovely move into the Casio triangle. Talk us through that one.
Yeah, and overtaking on the straight it's difficult. The run isn't that big, and I noticed Sira's getting quite a good exit. So yeah, I just decided to try in a different place, and it worked out. I think I stayed behind before going into the braking zone, and then yeah, I was just able to get through.
Okay, well, congratulations anyway on that victory. It was good to watch, an exciting battle, and well done. You're on your way now, surely, to another championship. But congratulations. Let's move on now to Sira, who comes home in 2nd place. Well, Sira, what do you think of that one? 4/10 off the pace in qualifying, but the race pace was pretty good, and you almost snatched the victory at the end.
Well, actually, it was a pretty fun race. I enjoyed a lot to race today. And qualifying, yeah, was really frustrating because I was able to make the same house of 26.7 with qualifying, but I just did mistakes in much parts of the lap. And I wouldn't be able to catch the pole position time, but I would be able to make it the same lap time. And at least I just managed to get the maximum position, which I would. And in the race, we just break the DRS of everyone, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting to have a train of 3, 4, maybe 5 cars for the lead. Because I just practiced with some people and the race pace was just so close between each other. And for my luck, I think we just pull away from everyone. And I think it just happened a crash behind us, between, if it was a Pinecone, if I'm not mistaken, or just between other two drivers. And with this, I just tried to make the undercut work, which always work in this game. I think you don't have any other track which overcut is better than the other. Actually worked, but just had a pretty low fuel, pretty low ERS in some points of the race, which just cost me a chance to fight a little more for the victory. And the final laps of the race, just had a little tire wear and just slide in the hairpin up in penultimate lap and just lost the contact and the DRS from Josh. So yeah, was a pretty enjoyable race. I'm gonna take it this P2.
Yeah, it was a good result in the end. It could have been better. I mean, I suppose you weren't expecting that after qualifying, but to win the race. But what do you think about the move Surprise made on you then into the chicane? Were you expecting it, or were you expecting everything down into that first corner?
Well, I was expecting a little, because in the most part of the lap I was just trying to manage ERS to have enough ERS to hold the position into the pit straight. And I was just noting a couple of laps ago that I was just slower than him in that part of the track. And it was just getting closer and closer, so I was just a little prepared for him to make some kind of move into the chicane, but I just wouldn't defend because I was just trying to manage ERS and feel, so yeah, was a little expected.
Okay, well, congratulations anyway on P2, Sierra. What do you think now going into the next race? Where do we head next? Is it Singapore next? No, we've been to Singapore. Is Russia next?
No, I
we've
think
been to Russia.
Mexico, but it's only next year.
Was what?
Mexico.
Next year?
Yeah, this is the last race before the Christmas break.
Is it actually? Oh my God. Oh well. Didn't even realise. Anyway, well, I'll not talk about that yet. We'll enjoy Christmas first. Congratulations on P2, Sierra. And let's move on to Mr. Lutt. How do we say it? Is it Kidon Lutt? Kidon Lutt? How do we say it?
Yeah, that works.
Kidon Lutt.
That works. Yeah, that works.
Kidon. Okay, well, congratulations, Kidon, on P3. Good result in the end, but I would imagine a relatively quiet race with all the action that happened behind you. You know, we lost Pinecone, we lost P1 Brown, and we lost, who else was it? Infamous, was it? I think we lost those three from the action quite early on. The guys you would have probably been fighting for the podium. So was it a bit of a lonely race for you?
Yeah, it was. I screwed up in qualifying first, and then I had to make up 2 positions just to get the back of Sarah, but then obviously they were too far ahead and then they were just gone. I couldn't do anything. Just didn't have the pace.
So do you think maybe, had you not lost the positions at the start of the race, do you think you could have clung on to the back of them? Do you think that would have been possible? Do you think you had the pace to maybe stay there if you were there at the start?
Maybe maximum is to stay. I don't think I would have been able to overtake these guys. They were just on another level.
I see. So I suppose you're happy then that that's the maximum you could achieve, P3. Can't argue with that?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm happy for P3.
And what about going forward then? I know it's into next year, but you know, how do you feel about this game? How do you feel about your pace going forward? You've been knocking on the door, esports wise. What's your goals and aims for the future? Because you know, just to get that extra level to get onto those guys.
I mean, firstly, I need to start playing the game more. I don't do laps anymore. That's the main issue I'm having right now. Just don't find the time, don't have the motivation, just lacking pretty much the motivation to play the game at all. The only thing I need to do is to play more and just, you know, grind the laps, because that way you can get those extra tenths that I'm lacking right now. But yeah, I don't know. I just need to look forward and yeah, just do those laps and hope for the best and obviously make to the drafts, which is going to be for the best there.
Okay. Well, best of luck and congratulations on P3 and the podium spot. Well, that rounds it off, folks, for the year. Thanks to you guys for telling me, because I had no idea. So, I suppose that means congratulations to the top 3 on the podium. And congratulations to Prix on the victory. And I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I wasn't expecting that at all. It's only December. What's the date? December the what? The 6th? Are you guys serious? Is it actually? Oh my God. Oh well, have a good Christmas and New Year, folks. And yeah, that's it. We're finished.